The unauthorized use of vocal music in the Band Aid 40 project seems petty, but I think it gets to the heart of something quite important. When Gilbert and Sullivan produced their, I think, second, their third opera, their second big hit, which was Pirates of Penzance, they were doing so in the clear knowledge that there was a big copyright problem, and in fact they put out a second production, which I think was done first, a small production of the opera in New York to try and scupper the copyright irregularities, and that form of piracy continues. And the assumption is that because it's a good cause, you don't need to check everything. Well, that's what your producers do. And this is a demonstration about a failure of the boffins to do their work, to check artistic consent, to check copyright, to check the legal and the ethical importance of obtaining an artist's permission before reusing their work, especially in high-profile charity projects. And I remember in the Oxford Playhouse, I'd done quite an elaborate design for a stage set, and in fact, I think it was the best stage set I ever designed. It was for a I forget what it was for actually now. It was for a play which had originally been done with Richard Burton, I think, a Tennessee Williams play, and it was all on a rake. It was beautiful. It was it was structurally very complex, but the design was great fun, and the painting was great fun. And I was very proud of it, and I walked into the Playhouse, I think in the run up to the opening night, and I found television cameras there, focused on my stage set, which I was quite proud of. And I said, "What's going on?" And they said, "Oh, we're using this as a backdrop to Panorama," which was a program at the time. And I said, "Oh, do I get a credit?" And they seemed to think they didn't. The Playhouse got a credit. I didn't. And the argument was wheeled out was, do you not want your show to have this opportunity? And I was bullied into silence because I looked disloyal. It's not the only time it's happened, but I cannot be alone in feeling that my work has been hijacked by production, and not properly recognised. It's not so much in my case the money as the credit. No credit occurred, of course. I think at the time I was told, yes, of course we'll credit, and I took that as fact, and there was no credit. So Ed Sheeran's Instagram post expressing disappointment and noting that he would have respectfully declined had he been asked, is worth acknowledging. His collaboration history with Band Aid 30 in 2014, how his perspective has changed over time, influencing his evolving understanding of the charity's portrayal of Africa. Well, but even if he was actively involved in promoting that charity, he should have been asked. Fuse ODG, which Sheeran cited, argued that these projects often perpetuate stereotypes that damage Africa's global image and limit economic growth, tourism, investment. And these initiatives can reinforce a narrative of dependency and pity as opposed to fostering equitable partnerships. So there's a tension between the well-meaning objectives of large-scale charity projects and their unintended consequences, particularly in shaping public perception of the beneficiaries. There's a potential backlash as well when high-profile figures question charity efforts, balancing public sentiment and necessary discourse about representation. But there seem to be two issues here. One is about the simple politeness of getting permission and of artistic credit, and the other is whether or not you support the efforts which are being promoted. So in the case of my stage design, did I support the program which was using it? Yes, I did. It was a program about poetry, and I don't quite know why they wanted to use my stage set as a backdrop. There was no actual purpose. It was just a pretty image. But the BBC continues to be responsible for hijacking other people's work, as indeed we saw about a few weeks ago, where they copied a report done by Caelan Robertson in Kherson and passed it off as entirely their own, and still haven't explained their source and the person who did that program first, who did that research and journalism first. The BBC wants to give the impression that it's grand enough to not to have to credit whose tail it hangs on to. But that is about bullying in the arts, isn't it? Trevor Horn's production, featuring a blend of various artists from different versions from 1984, 2004, 2014, adds complexity to the permission issues, but that's why producers exist. That's why there are so many producers, I presume. I was amazed at the number of producers when I was on Channel 4. Amazed. But, they have to do something for that title. And the importance of revisiting how charity songs are created is as important as revisiting the charity songs themselves. Ensuring they respect artists' consent, promote a dignified, accurate portrayal of the beneficiaries, and if artists have sort of changed their views, well then that needs to be encompassed as well. Sheeran wants a forward-looking approach. He wants to inspire a more thoughtful, collaborative effort in future charity work. And frankly, I think he's right.